Joining us now to discuss the chaos is expert Ben Oquist. Good morning to you, Ben. We keep getting last-minute panic warnings about these blackouts. Then they don't eventuate. Now that the regulators stepped in and taken over, are we safe from the blackouts?
Yeah, good morning, Natalie. Well, we hope so. I mean, the energy market operator has done the right thing and stepped in because essentially there was more capacity available than was being put online, and ending the wholesale spot price market enables them to have a better oversight of what is available and stop any potential gaming of the system. But essentially, we've got a market that is broken, and essentially that comes down to an over-reliance on expensive gas. Australia's been linked to the export price for gas for some time, and now we're hostage to sky-high prices internationally, and that's making the energy crisis worse, on top of gas and coal plant facilities that really break down too much of the time.
Yeah, so just try and let us understand, because there's a lot to this, isn't it, for the layperson to understand. We've got the green energy people saying we've been too slow to adopt renewables, but then we've got the fossil fuel industry saying we closed down, or we started closing down, a lot of the coal-fired plants too early with nothing to underpin the system. Who's right?
Well, we need to get on with the transition faster. I mean, essentially, gas and coal are unreliable in the modern age. And now we're finding out they're not only unreliable, but they're really expensive. Of course, to build out the renewables, you need the storage. And I think that's been the big failure of government policy. We haven't put enough into building the storage that will allow a higher take-up of renewables, because while ever we're hostage to coal and gas, we're going to have a more polluting industry, of course, but we're going to be subject to those high international price fluctuations. And rather than having a gas-led recovery, as we've been promised, we've now got a gas-led catastrophe, because we're exporting most of our gas overseas, big, mostly foreign-owned corporations that pay a little tax. Meanwhile, we haven't transitioned to renewables fast enough because we haven't built enough storage to allow our system to operate more sustainably and reliably and at low prices for consumers and businesses.
OK, by storage, I guess you mean like South Australia's done with the world-leading Tesla battery. How long is this going to go on for? We are 2 weeks into winter. Please tell us this is not going to continue all winter.
Well, we are going to have high prices while ever gas prices remain high. And because Australia's exporting most of our gas, then electricity prices are likely to remain high. Now, the intervention by the system market operator, AEMO, to effectively halt the market, now that's not going to go on for a long period of time. But unless we speed up the transition to renewables, unless we get off gas, then we're going to be subject to these international price fluctuations. Now, they might go down in the short term, but we're essentially hostage to the fossil fuel industry. And the good news is that renewables are cheaper, and the good news is that renewables with storage are more reliable and ultimately will give Australians energy independence. You mentioned that the big batteries that need to be built, but we also need to put batteries in households at a community level, at a state level, as you say. But there are all sorts of storage we can put in place. But we've essentially got to get off gas and get onto renewables.
Yeah, we're just behind, aren't we? Ben, thank you very much for explaining it.
Thanks, Natalie.